Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture. Here in this lecture, I have considered another point of permutation. In the previous video or in the previous lectures, if you have gone through, then you have come to know that we have discussed so many questions which are related to direct permutations. That means we have considered a situation knowingly or unknowingly that in that situation, permutation means what? Permutation means arrangement. In that arrangement, we have considered all those objects which are totally distinct. That type of objects we have considered. But here, we are going to discuss the another point of permutation where the objects may not be different. That means the point is that permutation when all the objects are not different. In the previous lectures, you have come to know that when all the objects are distinct, suppose round. How many new words can be formed from the letters of the word round? If the question will be given to you like that. How many objects are there? 3. R, A and M. To have a new word, you have to arrange among themselves. Arrange koriবৰ কাৰণে তুমি যিকেইটা letter লৈছা, all the letters are distinct, মানে বেলেগ বেলেগ. That's why in this case, we will try to, as the situation is of an arrangement situation, so we will think about permutation, and as all the objects are distinct, directly we can easily apply the formula for permutation. Just like as how many objects are available with us? 3 objects are available. That means we think about the NPR formula. What is N? N is the total number of objects. What is R? R is the number of objects to be arranged. কিমানটা object তুমি arrange কৰিব বিচাৰিছা? All the objects we have to arrange. So that's why 3p3. Suppose how many new words can be formed? How many 2-letter words can be formed from the 3 letters of the word round? Round number word to 3টা লেটাৰৰ পৰা 2টা লেটাৰৰ word কিমানটা বনাব পাৰিবা? How many letters are available? 3. Out of 3 letters, how many letters you have to use? 2 letters. Any 2 letters you have to use. 3p2. Formula is known to you. তোমালোকে already পাইছা. So that's why when all the objects are distinct which are to be arranged, in that case we will think about NPR formula. Now what about the another situation? Whenever all the objects are not distinct, listen carefully. When the objects are not distinct, okay? When objects are not distinct means what? Permutation when all the objects are not distinct. Let us consider the situation. What type of situation is this? Suppose the question is given. How many new words can be formed from the letters of the word book? A book number word to তুমি কিমানটা নতুন word বনাব পাৰিবা? All those words should contain how many letters? 4 letters should contain. That means all the letters you have to use. But if you observe carefully, তোমালোকে যদি ভালকে চোৱা তোমালোকে দেখিবা O number letter to দুবাৰ লিখা হৈছে. It repeated twice. That's why for your simplification purpose, so let us give us the numbering of this one, O1 and O2. But remember, O is the same letter. But for your explanation purpose only, I have considered this one is O1 and this one is O2. Okay? So you have to form a new word. So obviously we will try to arrange. So how can you arrange? Suppose you have written O1, O2, BK. Correct? Similarly, suppose you have written O2, O1, BK. That means if I will rearrange them among themselves, if I will rearrange them in between these 2 O's, এটা ওর মধ্যে যদি তুমি rearrange করা, have we got a new word? এটা word নতুন নাকি? তোমাকে just numbering কইছে এখানে বেলেগ লিখা দেখিছা, but how many letters, all letters are there in our English alphabet? Exactly 1. অকল এটাহে আছে, মইহে নাম্বাৰিং কৰি দিছো। তাৰ মই এটো বুজাব বিচাৰিছো তোমালোকে rearrange কৰিলেও you will never get a new word. তোমালোকে তেতিয়াও নতুন word নাপাবা। তাৰ মানে observe, they are the same word. কিন্তু মই rearrange কৰিছো O1 to O2, that means rearrange them we have got the same word. That means if we will consider these 2 objects are distinct, then we will not get the total number of words as a correct one. আমি correct এটা answer কিটো না পাম। Then what will be the situation? You cannot think about the application of this one formula NPR here, because all the objects are not distinct. such type of words যিবিলাক wordৰ বা যিবিলাক সিচুৱেশন এৰেঞ্জমেন্টৰ সিচুৱেশন হয় আৰু এৰেঞ্জমেন্ট কৰিবৰ কাৰণে তোমালোকে যিকিটা অবজেক্ট ইউজ কৰিবা if all the objects are not distinct then you cannot apply this formula এই formula তোমালোকে কেতিয়াও এপ্লাই কৰিব নোৱাৰিবা মাকো এবাৰ কৈছো if objects are distinct then NPR formula if objects are not distinct we have to discuss the formula this one only. So listen, the number of permutations means arrangement of n objects. What is the total number of objects? N objects are there. Suppose what is the total number of objects? Maybe same or maybe different, but n objects are there. Taken all the time, that means we are considering all the letters to form a new word. From a new arrangement, you have to consider all the letters. Remember, when P of the objects are alike of one kind, P of the objects, total n ta object ase, tare nam P ta object ekata type hoy. For example, Allahabad. How many letters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So n is equal to 9. Total number of letters is 9. But all are distinct to what? No, all are not distinct. How many distinct letters are there? A, L, B, and H. D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 distinct letters are there. But they are repeated. If n objects are there, out of n objects, when P of the objects are of one kind, A is repeated how many times? 3 times. This is the meaning. Eta object P times repeat hoise. Eta object kiman time repeat hoise? P times repeat hoise. For example, the object A or the letter A is repeated for how many times? 3 times. In this way, Q of them are of another kind. And beleg eta object Q times repeat hoise. For example, N is repeated for how many times? 2 times. So n ta object eta object P times repeated hoise. Another object is repeated for Q times. And the another object is repeated for how many times? R times. For example, AC is repeated for how many times? 1. AC is not repeated. A is repeated twice. L is repeated 2. AC is only 1 time. B is 1 and D is 1. Am I correct? Yes. So the third object is of R times repetition and the remaining all different. Then the total number of permutation will be this one. In the numerator, factorial of n you have to write down, and in the denominator you have to write down the factorial of each and every repetition. Kuntu object kiman bar repeat hoise tar factorial notation to malke likhibo lagibo. For example, how many new words can be formed? It question will be like that. From the word Allahabad, how many new words can be formed? The answer will be factorial of 9. This is nothing but a total number of objects. Kuntu object kiman bar repeat hoise? A repeated for how many times? 3 times. L repeated for how many times? 2 times. And baki bilak sob ebar aise. Factorial of 1, factorial of 1, factorial of 1. Am I correct? Factorial of 1 is equal to 1. So no need to write down. Factorial of 1 boli likha dorkar nai. Got it? Kintu 1 and 3 basic hoy, you have to mention it. Because factorial of 1 means what? 1. So no need to write it down. Is it clear? So this is the total number of words that can be formed. From the, okay, how many new words can be formed from the letters of the word book? So how many letters are there? 4. B repeated for how many times? Only 1 time. K 1 time. O for how many times? 2. So if I try to simplify it, then obviously you will get 3 into factorial of 2. Am I correct? For factorial of 4 means 4 into 3 into factorial of 2. So factorial of 2 cancels, so answer is 12. That means from the word book, exactly 12 distinct words can be formed. 12 distinct words can be formed. Okay. So I hope you have got my point. Whenever a situation will be there, generally তোমালোকে অকল wordৰ ক্ষেত্ৰতে পাবা আৰু ইভাগেও পোৱা যাব. When remember that whenever a situation is of arrangement, মনত ৰাখিবা. When objects are distinct, NPR formula. When objects are not distinct, then this formula, factorial of n means total number of objects divided by কোনটো object কিমান বাৰ ৰিপিট হৈছে প্ৰত্যেকৰে ফ্যাক্টৰিয়েল নোটেশন লিখাটো দৰকাৰ। So a repeated twice, so factorial of 3, l repeated twice, so factorial of 2, and বাকি বিলাক এবাৰ এবাৰ আহিছে, so no need to write down their factorial because factorial of 1 itself 1. I hope you are getting my point. So very important, when objects are not distinct, this formula, when objects are distinct, directly NPR formula. So NPR means what? NPR means factorial of n divided by factorial of n minus r. I hope you have got so many different examples in your textbook where we have to apply. So very important, just try to find out the distinguish between these two formula. Object bilak jodi beleg beleg hoy, NPR formula. If objects are not distinct, then this formula. Object bilak beleg beleg repeat hoise beleg konoba object. So enaka jodi hole 1 2 2 4 5 5. How many 1 2 3 4 5 6? How many 6 digit numbers can be formed? How many 6 digit numbers can be formed? So listen, how many objects are available? 1 2 3 4 5 6. All the objects are to be used? Yes. তুমি যে 6 digit or number বনাবা যেটা আমি বনাবলে যাম, this is nothing but a situation for arrangement of situation. Because rearranging them, you have to form a new number. তোমাকে তাকে rearrange কৰি new number বনাব লাগিব 6 digit number. The objects that you are going to use to arrange, are they distinct? No, repeat as well. 2 repeat hoise, 5 2 repeat hoise. So in that case, we have to think about the situation is of arrangement. We will try to apply factorial of 6 divided by factorial of 5 repeated for how many times? 2 times. 2 repeated for how many times? 2 times. In this way. Suppose this one is 2. Then 2 repeated for how many times? 3 times. 1 to ever is, so no need to write it down. So in this way, we try to find out the answer of all those questions related to permutation where objects are not distinct. This may be a question of numbers, this one may be a question of words or letters. I hope you are getting my point. So here in this video, we have got the point that when the objects are not distinct, then question formula we have to use. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you.